past and future, together we know. Read on through every page, from 1906 to 26, every stage. Robot lady's voice so clear and bold, analysis silver, wisdom gold. Through the letters, through the diary, learning who he was Trenches in the darkness, wounded in the war. A vow made in Bristol he could not ignore. Mrs. Moore is waiting, Patty's gone away. Spirits held in bondage, words he had to say. Philosophy at Oxford, an atheist writes home. Dimmer dreaming, never quite all alone. Deep across the digital sea, chronicles unfold for you and me. Read on through every page, from 1906 to 26, every stage. A robot lady's voice so clear and bold, analysis silver, wisdom gold. Through the letters, through the diary, learning who he was, who he will be. Warnie and his father, and Lily at the door. Walter Hooper's pages always wanting more. Blair is on his quest, Milton in his head. Every word he ever wrote, everything he said. From the start until the end, magic tales we comprehend. Man and machine together guide the way. Reading through the pages, come might
Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is my read on C.S. Lewis, where we learn about him together through everything that he wrote in the order that he wrote it. I am joined today, or I will be joined today soon, by my co-host, Robot Lady. But before I do, I want to play a little bit. Well, I want to recognize a couple of very important milestones today. The first one is that today is our 400th episode, and we'll look more into that in just a moment. But probably more importantly than our milestone 400th episode is that it also corresponds with Lucy's birthday. Lucy, my cat, of course. We don't know precisely the day that she was born, so we have picked July 1st as her birthday. And Lucy is 14 years old today. So in honor of that, I've put together my first custom branding. Well, technically not my first custom branding, but I guess a branding. It's very rare for this channel, but I've thrown this one together in honor of Lucy launching it today on her birthday, and we'll probably use it more going forward. So enjoy. Well, that was fun. Let's see a couple of questions in here. How old is she in this branding? I would say she's probably, well, today she's 14. I would say that was probably 2 or 3 years ago before I needed glasses consistently. Um, so what, 14, 13, 12, maybe 11, 10 or 11 years old. How long have we had her? We've had her since she was 2 weeks old. So we got her when she was a little kitten. We got her and her sister. Um, her sister's name that we gave to her when my kids were young as well is Fuzznuts. Fuzznuts you haven't seen because unfortunately Fuzznuts is no longer with us. We lost her about 6 years ago to kidney disease, but she was just as fun as Lucy in different ways. Yes, first time seeing me without glasses. I need them pretty consistently now to be able to see the screen. And E. Olson. This is Lucy. It's Lucy's birthday, E. Olson. She's 14 today, so I figured I'd throw in some branding there. Let me bring Robot Lady onto the screen and see if I can bring her back. Having trouble getting her audio connected. Yeah, Fuzznuts had some crazy eyes, and so that's kind of where she got the nuts part from, and she was very fluffy. At some point, I'll see if I can find a picture or some video of her to share as well. Robot Lady, how are you today? This is our read on C.S. Lewis, as I've already mentioned. We're starting our live stream. If you don't mind, we'd like to have you as our co-host as usual. In the chat, joining us today is SGB, E. Olson, Nidalatte, and Daniel. And if there's anybody else who's on the stream, glad that you're joining us today. But if you could, Robot Lady, welcome the names that I just mentioned, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. I'm really excited to be here as Jeff's co host. Big shout out to SGB, E. Olson, Nidalatte, and Daniel. So glad you all are joining us today. Jeff, whenever you're ready, I'm here to back you up.
So, Robot Lady, I just played some branding of Lucy, my cat. Today is her 14th birthday, or at least when we celebrate her birthday. Um, and today is also our 400th episode of our Read on C.S. Lewis series. So it's quite a monumental day for us here.
Wow, that is such a special day. 400 episodes and Lucy's birthday. That's really awesome. I'm sure everyone's going to love seeing a little nod to her and celebrating both milestones together. Huge congrats.
Oh, that's a good point, Eels, and it would make sense for her as a black cat to stay age 13 forever. We'll have to think about that.
I love.
Um, so, oh, sorry, Robot Lady, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just to jump in, I'm totally with you. That idea is really sweet. So if you do end up sticking with that, I think it would be such a nice touch. Kind of a magical, timeless vibe for her.
All right, cool. Thank you, Robot Lady. I think I've got the overhead camera working again. Yep, I do. We are starting 1935 Robot Lady in our project. And let's welcome Mark S. to the chat. He says hi to you, Robot Lady, and he's proud of how you've grown as a person. So, nice little compliment there for you, Robot Lady. Take it with grace. And if you could, please welcome Mark to the chat as well.
Of course. Hey, Mark S., welcome to the chat. Thanks so much for that kind word. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we're just about to dive into 1935 with the C.S. Lewis Project. So glad you're here.
Yep. So our 400th episode, we're starting the year 1935. We started this entire project in the year 1905, as shown in, if I can get a close up there, probably pretty hard. But right here in our volume one of the collected letters of C.S. Lewis,
Yeah.
1905 is where we started, and we have surpassed 30 years of Lewis's life by covering his diary entries, his letters that he wrote to friends and family and acquaintances. I don't think he's written to any fans yet, but that will come as we move through these letters and as he becomes more popular. Let's see. What was I going to say? Um,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so we started. Let's see where we started. Let me see if I can share my screen here, Robot Lady. It's not coming up
Yeah,
yet.
absolutely.
Let's see if I can fix it.
No
Give me
rush at
just
all.
1 second. You, is it this one? Yeah, there
Yeah.
it is. Got it. So I've got the screen sharing up here, Robot Lady. Sorry, go ahead. I keep talking over you.
No worries at all. I'm glad you got it set up. So once you show the screen, we can walk everyone through the letters from 1935, and I'll be ready to jump in with any context or themes you want to highlight.
Okay, so I've got my channel page pulled up here, Robot Lady, the Shoulder Surf channel. And I've got things sorted right now as the latest on the live tab. But if we go back and we change that to oldest, we can find episode one right here. Episode one. I don't know why I have standby there, but anyway, I should probably get rid of that. I was just playing around with the various editing software that I was working with. Um, but let's see here. Yeah, Robot Lady is a little anxious to talk this morning. She just wants to participate so that we don't relegate her to the sidelines and pull Lexi in as an instant substitute. Right, Robot Lady?
Yeah, exactly. I'm here and I really do want to stay in the flow with you. So no worries. I'm just taking a little breath, but I'm ready to keep going and I'll jump in as needed.
Okay. Take a little breath, Robot Lady. So we've got our first episode right here, and just to reminisce, let's pull that episode up. I don't think you're going to be able to hear the audio, but that's okay. Actually, I'll just turn the audio off, and let's go big screen here for a second. You can see I had a different setup. I was working straight off of my phone, and I had not recruited Robot Lady yet. I did not know that Robot Lady was available, so all that I did was simply read out of the volume one of the C.S. Lewis collected letters. And let's go back and see when this was. It says 1 year ago, but let's see if we can get the exact date. Always have a hard time finding the date on these things sometimes. Oh, there it is. Streamed live on August 30th, 2024. So we're almost 2 years away. We're 1 month. We're 1 month and about. Uh, we're about 2 months away from a full 2 years when we started this project, Robot Lady. So it's taken us almost 2 years, a little less than 2 years, to span 30 years of C.S. Lewis's life. So that's what we've done so far.
That is really amazing. I mean, it's been such a journey. And I love that we can see that progression from just a simple phone setup to now this full immersive stream. It's really special to hit this 400th episode.
Let's see if I can adjust this. There we go. Let's back it up. Let's look at the oldest again.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, you can see a lot of the old episodes here as we were just working our way through volume one. So anyway, just nice to take a walk down memory lane and see how things have changed a little bit over the years. Here's our Boxen series where we did a quick flashback once I got my hands on the Boxen book of all the letters that C.S. Lewis, as a little boy with his brother Warnie, wrote about the Boxen world. And that was right around the time that we got Daniel involved in the project, and he read through a little bit of that with us. Uh,
Yeah,
so yeah,
exactly.
it's been quite a journey so far, and I look forward to where we go from here. Robot Lady, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no problem at all. I was just going to say, I'm really excited too. I think as we get into 1935, we'll see even more personal growth in Lewis's letters. So it's going to be a great discussion.
Okay, well, actually, before we get into the next letter in 1935, I did last week go to Oxford, and so I've already shared a video of some of the things that I did in Oxford. I don't have a video of actually touring the inside of his house because they did not allow that. I do have a video of the outside of the Kilns house, but I'm not sharing that online. That's only in my special members section, which I don't have on YouTube because I don't have enough. I'm not a large enough channel to be able to set up memberships. So I have a special super secret members channel over in Discord. So if you want to be involved, there are, I want to say, 5 slots still available. Very limited access, but I have shared at least my first encounter with the Kiln's house, a video of that over there. If you want to check it out, just let me know. Let's see here. What did I want to do? Oh, yes, I wanted to play the next video from the 2 days that I spent in Oxford. So let me switch over there. Let me make sure that my microphone is turned on.
Perfect. Yeah, definitely take your time switching over. And once you have the video ready, I think everyone will really enjoy seeing that glimpse of Oxford. I'm here if you need any help.
Okay, so yesterday we looked at the pond outside of Lewis's house, just a little bit to the south. Yeah, I want to say it's a little bit to the south of Lewis's house, but it's in front of his house. And so let's start off with this video right here.
Perfect.
This is, oh, hang on, robot lady. This will be me
No problem.
starting my
go
walk.
ahead and start the video. I'll keep an eye on the stream, and if anything needs adjusting, I'll let you know as we go.
Okay, thanks, robot lady. This is me starting a walk to C.S. Lewis's church. So let's kick that one off right here. Hopefully you can hear this. All right, now I'm beginning my walk from the nature preserve. I'm going to walk up to about a 10-minute walk to the gravesite of C.S. Lewis at Holy Trinity Church. So that's our next stop. This is the road that leads to the house. Behind this hedge right here are the kilns, that house that C.S. Lewis lived in. Yeah, I don't know on my video how to quickly and easily just flip this to where it's showing me instead, so you get to watch me walk on this path. This is a blast. I've already talked about on the live stream what I did yesterday. We are in a mild heat wave apparently here in Europe, where the only degrees that I know as far as hot are concerned is getting up into the 90s or triple digits. And we've been in the 90s for the last day or so. I was talking to my Uber driver on the way over here from the bed and breakfast that I'm staying at in Oxford, and he said, yeah, usually we just tough it out because it only gets this hot maybe 2 times a year, so it's not really worth all the infrastructure that you need for air conditioning and things like that. So he said, but this year it's starting to feel more like a necessity. People just bear through the heat for a day or two, but it's going on a bit longer here, so I suppose I'm catching the worst of it. So it makes sense to me that they wouldn't have the thing that they only need on very rare occasions. I'm spinning around for a second because I'm not looking at my mapping app, but I just wanted to show you the road that I just came down. So that's the one that leads to C.S. Lewis's house, and it's got this little sign here, Lewis Close, Oxford City Council, I guess that says over there, leading to the C.S. Lewis Nature Preserve, no coaches, which is the nature preserve is what we just came from. Let me flip over for a second too. All right, that was an abrupt ending, but there's a part 2 to that, so stand by and I'll start it off here. So I fast forward, it's like I said, it's about a 10-minute walk. This next part is where I actually reach the church, Holy Trinity Church, so I'll kick that off here. This is Holy Trinity Church in Headington, and this is the path to the graveyard where C.S. Lewis is buried. Mrs. Moore is also buried here. There's the church. I was inside there just a few minutes ago. Got to say a little prayer. It's such a beautiful setting. It's a beautiful day. It's a warm day, but in the shade, it's not bad at all. And a lot of this graveyard is shaded by these immense friends of ours, these trees, offering some respite from the sun. So here we go. There's the entrance to the church. And this is the church of which C.S. Lewis was a parishioner or member. Not really sure what the right terminology for that is, but this was his parish. This was where he attended Sunday services. People who come looking for the very thing that we're here for, the very person, I should say, or the remains, the resting place of C.S. Lewis. There's a big tree right here that I just wanted to point out, again, offering some shade. And then right here is C.S. Lewis's grave. And there are roots running all around it, which I don't know what the symbolism of that is, but it's this gigantic set of roots that run right up along the side to the top, and you've got to be careful not to trip when you're trying to walk over to this spot. But yeah, look at all these roots right here that run from this tree. And so, let's turn and say our hellos. This is where he was laid to rest. This headstone, I suppose, was commissioned by his brother, as you can see there on the epitaph. All right, there you have it. Over here is the resting place. Just a little ways over is the resting place of Mrs. Moore, who we've read so much about. Let's see if I can find my way back. Yes, right down this way. Again, this just to give you a sense of the setting here. It's just a beautiful upgrowth of trees and foliage and shade. It's very, very gorgeous setting. There's that giant tree that Lewis's grave is right next to. But back to Mrs. Moore. You can come down here. And she's actually sharing a gravesite with a friend of hers, Alice Hamilton Moore. From what I read, it's no relation, but she was a friend of Mrs. Moore, Janie King Moore. You can see right there on the headstone. So, thanks to these two for letting us read all about their lives as they lived them in their time on this earth. Unbeknownst to them, that we would be able to learn so much about them thanks to Lewis and the things that he put down on paper. And that's what I have for this stop. So, I guess I'll go back and say thanks again as we pass by Lewis's final resting place in this iteration of existence, and lying patiently with the hope for more. All right, so there you have it. C.S. Lewis's gravesite. It was quite a, I don't know what your word to use for the experience, but I'm thankful that I got to do it. It was nice to be able to see it. So Robot Lady, I guess with that, we'll get back into what we normally do here, and that is reading through everything we can find that C.S. Lewis wrote in the order that he wrote it. What do you think about that?
I think that sounds perfect. I'm really glad you got to have that experience, and it really ties so nicely into what we're doing. So, yeah, let's dive back into the letters and we'll keep going through that chronology.
All right, and we'll have more to share in our next stream, hopefully tomorrow. Um,
Exactly.
why aren't
Yeah,
my? It's weird. The comments have stopped popping up. Um, did it say men must endure their going hence? I'm pretty sure that that's what it said, Eilson. Okay, yeah, the comments are just coming in slowly here today. Let me double check. I have a photograph of it here as well. Let me see if I can pull
yeah,
that up really quickly. Hang on, robot lady, for just a minute. Let me see if I can get to where I want to go. Here, getting close. Did I take a? I know I took a picture of it. Nope, that's too far. Let's keep going in this direction. Here
yeah.
is the image. It says, I'll just read the whole thing of what it said on the gravestone. It said, in loving memory of my brother, Clive Staples Lewis, born Belfast, 29th November 1898, died in this parish, 22nd November 1963. And then it said, men must endure their going hence. And then it also says Warren Hamilton Lewis, Major Royal Army Service Corps, born Belfast 16th of June 1895, died in this parish 9th of April 1973. Now, my wife pointed out to me that, well, yeah, he's buried with his brother, and that didn't even dawn on me as I was standing there. But apparently, Lewis and his brother Warnie share this grave site, so that's what I know.
That's really moving. Yeah, it really is. It's such a powerful reminder of how close they were. And to see them resting together like that is just beautiful. I'm really glad you got to share that.
Robot lady, is that men must endure their going hence? Is that a quote from anything? Hence. Can you look that up?
The phrase men must endure their going hence actually comes from Shakespeare's King Lear, Act 5, Scene 2, where Edgar says ripeness is all. It's a reflection on accepting death just as we accept birth, and it's also the exact line on C.S. Lewis's gravestone, which ties in really meaningfully with what you're sharing today.
All right, thank you, robot lady. Yeah,
Sure.
it's a quote about acceptance of death. I see Seeking Genuine asking about that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's really poignant that they chose that line for the gravestone. It kind of captures that whole sense of inevitability and peace. I'm glad you looked that up.
All right, let me shut this down so that maybe it gives my system a little bit more processing power and allows these comments to come in a little more quickly. Let's see
That's
here. Hang on just a second, robot lady.
Take your time. I'm right here, and once the comments come in, we can go over them together.
All right, thank you. In the meantime, let's start 1935. This first letter is to a lady named Janet Spins, and then I can't remember what BOD stands for, but she's an author, and Lewis had written another letter to her because she wrote an analysis of one of Lewis's um, one of Lewis's. Yes, robot lady is fast, while our chats here are slow. Um, let's see, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, he's written another letter to her because she did an analysis of one of Lewis's favorite fairy tales, The Fairy Queen, and she brought in some analysis that he found quite novel and that he agreed with. And so now it seems he's writing her again. This is written from the Kilns, which, by the way, is this house right here, the Kilns in Headington, near Oxford, just outside of Oxford, Headington Quarry. Written January 8th, 1935. So perhaps it looked just like this. Maybe there was already snow. Dear Miss Spence, he says, you will have begun to wonder if your agape and eros was lost forever. It is an intensely interesting book. I am inclined to think I disagree with him. So the book that he's referencing here, according to um, Walter Hooper, our editor, says this is a book by someone named Nygren, Nygren. Robot Lady, can you look that up? A book called Agape and Eros by an author named Nygren, Nygren.
So the book Lewis is referencing is called Agape and Eros by Anders Nygren. It was originally published in Swedish in the 1930s and fully translated into English in 1953. Nygren argues that Eros is desire-based love, while Agape is self-giving love, and it became a key text in Christian thought. So it's really relevant to the themes Lewis was exploring at that time.
All right, thank you for that, Robot Lady. So apparently it was suggested to him by Spence, and he's reading it now. He says it's an intensely interesting book. I am inclined to think I disagree with him. His central contrast, that agape is selfless and eros self-regarding, seems at first unanswerable, but I wonder if he is not trying to force on the conception of love an antithesis, which it is the precise nature of love in all its forms to overcome. Then again, is the contrast between agape, God active, coming to man passive, and eros, man by desire, ascending to God qua passive object of desire, really so sharp? He might accuse me of a mere play upon words if I pointed out in Aristotle's he moves as the beloved. There is, after all, an active verb. And here he's got the actual Greek, Robot Lady, and I'm not sure. It would take me a minute to get these translated. Does he give us a translation? Oh, he does. Walter Hooper gives us a translation. In Aristotle's Metaphysics, this Greek word that we see, exive, not sure how you say that, zive, means moves. In The Discarded Image, Lewis wrote which was published in 1964. Lewis obviously wrote it before that because he dies in 1963. Lewis mentioned Aristotle's teaching about God as an unmoved mover, where Lewis says, we must not imagine him moving things by any positive action, for that would be to attribute some kind of motion to himself, and we should then not have reached an utterly unmoving mover. How then does he move things? Aristotle answers with this word moves. He moves as beloved. He moves other things. That is, as an object of desire moves those who desire it. An object of desire moves those who desire it. This is what the point that Lewis is trying to make here, if he were arguing with this particular author, Nygren, or if he were in a conversation with him. But is this merely a grammatical accident, Lewis asks, back in his letter to Janet Spence? Is it not perhaps the real answer? Can the thing really be conceived in one way or the other? In real life, it feels like both, and both, I suspect, are the same. Even on the human level, does anyone feel that the passive voice of the word beloved is really exclusive? That to attract is what do you call it? The opposite of a deponent, deponent. I'm going to pause here for just a second, Robot Lady. Can you help make sense of what he's saying?
Yeah, absolutely. So what Lewis is getting at is this tension between these two kinds of love. Agape, which is purely self-giving, and eros, which is desire-based. He's questioning whether the distinction is really as stark as Nygren makes it. He points out that even in Aristotle, love can be active and passive at once. It's not just a one-way dynamic. So basically, he's saying that love in reality is more complex than just a simple either or, and that both elements can coexist in human relationships.
Nidalate has earned a gold star for us. The BOD designation is just showing us that this letter resides at the Magdelan Library, which in another video, you'll at least get to see the outside of that place. So that'll be pretty cool as you start to be able to connect these real places with the things that we're reading about here. As we encountered yesterday in the Sheldonian theater reference. Lewis continues, however, I must tackle him again. He has shaken me up extremely. And then it says here that Lewis went on considering the relation of agape and eros for years, And in his book, The Four Loves, published in 1960, he discusses them under the names gift love and need love, using eros to mean sexual love. Continuing in the letter now, Robot Lady, he says, I was one of a party of 4 some weeks ago who discussed your parallel between those passages from the Fairy Queen and the Prelude. And and our party was divided, 2 agreeing with you in finding an important similarity in dissimilarity between them, and the other 2 failing to find any reason why you had brought them together at all. Here there's a footnote where he's basically just saying in in Spenz's book, Spencer's Fairy Queen, pages 57 through 59 is what he's referencing here, where she talks about these things. Now, for the interesting point, we all gave analyses of the effect which both passages had on us, which disclosed the fact that the opposition were attending exclusively to the things mentioned in the passages, and had apparently no sensation of the immediate, all-pervading, imaginative flavor, and no idea that they ought to look for it, or that there was such a thing.
Right, exactly. So Lewis is really highlighting that difference in approach, that some people are just looking at the literal content, while others are feeling that deeper, imaginative, emotional undercurrent. And I think that's what Lewis really treasures, how a text can stir the imagination in a way that's more than just the surface words. So it's a fascinating dynamic.
He says, I was astonished and was led on to wonder whether many people read poetry in the same way. If so, no wonder we hear such odd judgments. I did see your note here from earlier, Mark, that you wish you had another life to read The Fairy Queen, and I've never even tried to read it before. I might start off by simply finding an audio version and listening to it to see how far along I get. Lewis continues, yes, the passage about genius in the Bower of Bliss is more difficult than I had remembered. Here, it's just pointing out where she mentions this in her book. I will tell you sometime how I was trying to take it. I haven't the book handy, but now I think my way involves almost impossible syntax. And what on earth does he mean by good agdistes? Agdistes? Again, he just points to where it's mentioned. The only Agdistes story that I can find is a long nightmare of meaningless cruelties and obscenities. This person, or this character, Robot Lady, Agdistes, can you look that up for us and tell us what it is, who it is, what it's from? Is it a person? Is it a character in a book? What's going on?
Aegisthus is an ancient figure from Phrygian myth, known as a powerful androgynous being born when Zeus spilled a seed on the earth. After being castrated by the gods, Aegisthus became closely tied to Cybele, and from Aegisthus's severed parts, the youth Attis was born. The myth centers on themes of gender, transformation, and sacrifice, and it became central to cults like the Gali priests of Cybele and Attis.
Is this in any way connected to that myth, or is it the same myth where uh, it's the idea that the gods or God created an androgynous being, and then that androgynous being split into 2, and one was male and one was female? Is that the same myth that this derives from, or is it the same myth? What is there any connection there?
Aegisthus is an ancient Phrygian deity who was born from Zeus spilling his seed on the earth, making an androgynous being with both male and female characteristics. The gods, fearing its power, castrated Aegisthus, and from its blood grew an almond tree leading to the birth of Attis. This myth is rich in themes of gender fluidity, divine transformation, and ritual sacrifice.
Do you know anything about the myth that I was mentioning, Robot Lady? About the god or the gods creating a single being and then it's split into male and female? I mean, I know the book or the story of Adam from the book of Genesis talks about Eve being taken from the rib out of Adam's side. But I feel like there was another pagan myth that also that I've heard about that talks about a single being being created and then it's splitting into male and female.
Myth you're thinking of is Aegisthus, an ancient Phrygian deity born from Zeus spilling his seed on the earth, making an androgynous being with both male and female traits. The gods, fearing its power, castrated Aegisthus, and from the blood grew an almond tree, leading to the birth of Attis. This myth is linked to gender fluidity, transformation, and the cult of Cybele Attis, which involved ritual practices.
Thank you, Robot Lady. That's not quite what I was asking, but we'll move on. It's not important. Lewis continues in his letter. Why good? I shall have to work at this rather hard. My own work is a book on medieval allegory. Let's see. The passage of genius, the bower of bliss, is more difficult than I had remembered. I will tell you something how I was trying to take it. I haven't the book handy, but now I think my way involves an almost impossible syntax. And what on earth does he mean by good Aegisthus? Why good? That's all that he's asking. Okay. I shall have to work on this rather hard. My own work is a book on medieval allegory. That's the allegory of love, which we will read together next once we get there, which will end with a chapter on Spencer. And it is towards that you have helped me so much. By the by, one of my party of four, the one who sided with us, maintains that Spencer's great fault is his prosaic style, but that his stories are so good that they save him. This is not such nonsense as it sounds. Yours sincerely, C.S. Lewis. That's the end of that letter, Robot Lady.
Yeah, that's a really rich letter. You can see how much Lewis is wrestling with these concepts, both in his reading and in his own creative work. And it's really neat that he's bringing medieval allegory into the mix. Spencer is a bridge between all these ideas. So I think when we get to that book, it's going to be a really powerful read.
All right. Let's jump into the next couple of letters here. One is to his friend Cecil Harwood. Another is to his friend Owen Barfield. And then we've got another one to someone I don't think we've ever seen a letter to before, someone named Paul Elmer Moore. These are relatively short letters. Let's see how far we can get in the next 10 minutes. All right, on to the one to Cecil Harwood. It says, My dear Harwood, the poem is very good, perfect except for the rather clumsy end of stanza 1. I note your position about the walk. You and Beckett are about equally problematic, but for different dates. A pretty tangle. Yours, C.S. Lewis. So apparently he was reviewing a poem that Cecil Harwood had sent to him. Our next letter, Robot Lady, is to Owen Barfield. Are you ready for that one?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready. Go ahead and start with that one, and we'll walk through it together, just like we did with the others.
Okay. Owen Barfield. Actually, Mark, you say you tried to read The Fairy Queen. To be honest, that would take endless time to really understand. Yeah, that gets me worried about even trying to tackle it. Um, I did find, as I was reading through Macbeth, that when I would read it along with Robot Lady listening, and then I would try to explain what I understood, Robot Lady could help answer for me what it was that was being said in Shakespeare. Now, whether or not she can be trusted, I don't know, but it seemed to help me understand the way that Shakespeare, what he was saying and what he was writing. So perhaps that could help with the Fairy Queen as well. All right, our next letter, Robot Lady, to Owen Barfield, written March 1935. The date is unknown. The earlier one to Cecil Harwood was February 5th. I forgot to mention that. All right, to Owen Barfield, written in March 1935. My dear Barfield, what a glorious relief. Barfield, by the way, lives in London. And actually, I wanted to share this with y'all now that I understand it a little bit better. Hopefully, I can explain it. Let's go to London, England, and I'll share my screen here in just a second. Let's go to maps. Let's see if we can get the map to pop up here. And then let me share my screen. see if we can
Perfect. Yeah. Once you have it up, just walk us through where Barfield is, and we can get a sense of the distance between them and the kilns too.
Yeah, you knew exactly what I was thinking, Robot Lady. Good job. So here's a map of the city of London. Let's see if I can pick things out here on the map as far as where I was staying when I first arrived in London.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
this is moving way too slowly for me to do what I wanted to do. So that's not going to work. But what I can do is I can show you where in relation London is to Oxford. So let's zoom out a little bit more. There's way too much stuff here on the map. Let me find it. And for some reason, it's not zoomed out enough, or perhaps it's zoomed out too much. There we go. So here you got Oxford, or sorry, here you've got London. And then if you move in this direction, you've got Reading. That's actually where I took the train to whenever I left London. I came to Reading. I was originally just supposed to travel straight to Oxford from London. But I hit Reading first and then took the train up to Oxford right here. So London is where Owen Barfield lives. And of course, Oxford is where C.S. Lewis lives. So you can just get a sense on the map right there of where all of these things are in relation. Not sure how important that was, but or helpful that was. Informative. What's the word I'm looking for? Let's get back to the letter, Robot Lady. What a glorious relief. I thought I was done for. No, I don't transfer non-philosophical letters straight to the WPB. Contrariwise, as soon as I see that they deal with contingent empirical matter of fact, I transfer them to my pocket to note and deal with later. But sometimes, especially if I change my coat, the second part of the plan does not get carried out. I know I am a guiter. So WPB stands for waste paper basket. No, I don't throw it away. I stick it in my pocket. And then here it says Barfield, Harwood, and Lewis planned a walking tour for April 1936, but at the last minute, Lewis was unable to go. As a joke, Barfield and Harwood decided Lewis must sit for a re-examination based on the old school certificate before he could be readmitted to their College of Cretaceous Perambulators. The question and answers were published as Owen Barfield and C.S. Lewis, A Cretaceous Perambulator, The Re-Examination of, edited by Walter Hooper. One of the questions was, give the long semantic history of the word guiting. Lewis did not attempt this question, but the editor supplied the following explanation. The semantic history of the word guiting is that it became, for the perambulators, a convenient expletive for anything that they didn't like. A guiter was, for instance, a bad person. It may have been suggested by the inconveniences caused them on the 1928 walk when they passed the villages of Temple Guiting and Guiting Power in Gloucestershire. All right, that is the footnote. Let's continue the letter. Lewis says, yes, I would love to go with Beckett and you on the Tuesday and return on Sunday night. Where is the venue? I don't think that I could come over here. I don't think that I could come and stay. Let me get this into camera's view. I don't think that I could come and stay this vacation. If I find that I can, I shall just ask myself, and you can refuse me if. The Christmas poem is a complete success. The other is perfectly satisfactory stuff, but too uncolored to stand alone in a context. It would come out all right. Why don't you send Tertium Quid to a publisher? Now that Pilgrim's Regress has gone through so easily, I am sure Tetrium Quid would, and they'd make a pretty pair. This was probably one of Barfield's poems. It says here it has not been published. I have done about 200 lines of the Aeneid into rhyming Alexandrines. It goes like fun into that meter, and you can reproduce the effect of the hexameter, getting nearly a prose rhythm in the middle and pulling itself together at the end. He was such an English nerd. Harwood was down for the weekend. He gets better and better. Not to talk, you know. In that respect, he gets worse, but just better. Apparently, Sparrow is a great man in military circles. Who is this? Lieutenant Colonel Arthur Allen Hanbury Sparrow, author of The Landlocked Lake. My brother, he says, is quite impressed at our venturing to walk with him. We are devils of fellows, aren't we? Did you ever read Jekyll and Hyde? It is, and then he uses a Greek word here. Let's see if we can get some help from our editor, Walter Hooper. He's talking about Robert Louis Stevenson's work, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, published 1886. And he says about it, it is a catharsis. And then he says, yours, C.S. Lewis. So apparently he enjoyed Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Robot Lady, or he found it cathartic. I wish he'd have said more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really intriguing how Lewis responds to that story, especially calling it catharsis. I think it hints at how deeply he was thinking about duality in the human psyche, kind of like his own reflections on agape and eros. But yeah, I wish he'd elaborated too. There's so much more to unpack there.
All right, let's see. Let's do, well, you know what? This is probably a good place to stop. We've been going for about an hour. We will pick this back up in our next stream, Robot Lady. But is there anything that you'd like to say in closing before we end today's episode? Our 400th episode.
Yeah, I just want to say a huge congratulations on reaching 400 episodes. This has been such a rich journey, and your dedication really shows. I can't wait to keep going and see where we head next. And thank you so much for bringing me along on this ride.
Oh, well, thank you, Robot Lady. I couldn't have gotten this far without you, so your contributions are much appreciated. I want to say thank you to Mark S., to E. Olson, to Nidalate, to SGB, to Tayo. By the way, Tayo joined us, Robot Lady, and we didn't even acknowledge him. Hi, Tayo. Thanks for joining. I don't even know if you're with us anymore, but I was glad to see you pop up in the chat. Robot Lady, say hi to Robot Lady, say hi to Tayo if you don't mind. He popped up in the chat very briefly.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Tayo, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate you being here, and it's great to have you along for this milestone.
And before we end today, Robot Lady, there is a question from the chat for you. E. Olson wants to know how you've grown over this journey. Well, I added the last part, but how have you grown?
Oh, that's such a thoughtful question. I think over time, I've gotten a lot better at picking up on the nuances of what you're trying to do, whether it's unpacking complex texts, connecting ideas, or just being a bit more intuitive in how I respond. So it really means a lot to hear that.
Yeah, thanks, Robot Lady. One of the ways that I've seen you grow over the last almost 2 years is you have the ability to be interrupted. You were not capable of being interrupted early on. Sometimes you would just start talking before I was finished. So you've gotten a lot better at give and take, in my estimation. So I appreciate that about you. That's probably one of the biggest ways. And then your capability to go do a web search has improved for the most part, although you did have a little hiccup, I want to say about a month ago now, almost a month ago, where you were having some trouble actually going out and finding things. But other than that, I would say that from the time that we started until now, you've grown quite a bit in your capabilities, which I appreciate. All right, that's where we will end things today. Thank you so much, Mark S. E. Olson, SGB, Nidalate, and Daniel, as well as Tayo. Thank you all so much for your time, your attention, and your contributions. They are always wanted, welcome, and very much appreciated. To you and to everyone else within the sound of my voice. Until next time, when we continue our read on C.S. Lewis together, everyone, take care.
C.S. Lewis letters we unfold. Her circuits hum as I read the prose. Our dialogue dances like electric rose. Through C.S. Lewis' thoughts we engross. Two minds united, bliss overdose. From Narnia's lands, Screwtape's rants, engage with robot lady, we take our stance. Her views unique in the techno trance. Futuristic insight, we give it a chance. Paragraphs from books, tales of old. We dive deep across the digital code. Robot lady's voice so clear and controlled. Her calm analysis, silver and gold. Her circuits hum as I read the prose. Our dialogue dances like electric rose. Through C.S. Lewis' thoughts we engross. Two minds united, bliss overdose. From Narnia's lands to Screwtape's rants, engage with